Welcome to La Rochelle, the second stop on our journey through France. Located on France's Atlantic coast, La Rochelle is a city with a rich maritime history, famous for its old harbour, medieval towers, and charming historic streets. Today, we leave the hotel behind and head towards the heart of the city to explore the old port, discover some of its hidden corners, and simply enjoy the atmosphere of one of France's most beautiful coastal cities. So come along with me as we take a walk through La Rochelle. No visit is complete without a small souvenir, and a fridge magnet is always a nice reminder of the places we've been. Standing guard at the entrance to the harbour are the city's famous medieval towers. For centuries, they protected La Rochelle and welcomed ships arriving from across the Atlantic. This beautiful historic building is the former harbour master's office, known as the Bureau du Port. For centuries, the port was the heart of La Rochelle, and ships arriving from around the world would have been registered and managed from here. Today, it stands as a reminder of the city's strong connection to the sea. The harbour and canal system have always been an important part of life in La Rochelle. Even today, you can see how the city remains closely connected to the sea. One thing I often enjoy when traveling is stopping for a moment and looking beyond the obvious tourist attractions. This is Saint-Sauveur Church, standing beside the canal in the heart of La Rochelle. For hundreds of years, this area was filled with sailors, traders and travelers arriving from distant places across the Atlantic. The church has witnessed it all. This historic gateway once marked the entrance between the busy harbour and the medieval city. For hundreds of years, merchants, sailors and travellers passed through here on their way into La Rochelle. Today it remains one of the city's most recognisable landmarks. As we passed the excursion boats, I have to admit there was one thing we didn't manage to do during our stay in La Rochelle: a trip out to the famous Fort Boyard. Unfortunately, we arrived too late for the day's final departures. But that's often how travelling works. Sometimes you leave with a good reason to come back. In the distance stands the Lantern Tower, the oldest lighthouse on France's Atlantic coast. Built during the Middle Ages, it served both as a lighthouse and later as a prison. Many sailors and prisoners left their marks on the walls, some of which can still be seen today. As I walk past this statue, I can't help but wonder who this man was and why he was given such a prominent place overlooking the harbour. Well, this is Admiral Guy Victor Duperrey, born here in La Rochelle in 1775. one of France's most respected naval commanders, and a local hero whose legacy is still remembered today. As the day goes on, the harbour becomes busier. Locals and visitors gather at the cafés and restaurants, creating the relaxed atmosphere that makes La Rochelle such a pleasant place to explore. There is something special about old port cities. The sea brings people together, and over time places like this become filled with stories, history and memories. Saint-Sauveur has been watching over this part of La Rochelle for centuries. As our walk comes to an end, we follow the canal back towards the hotel. La Rochelle may be known for its famous harbour and towers, but it is often the smaller details, the quiet streets, the old buildings and the unexpected discoveries along the way that leave the strongest memories. Thank you for joining me on this walk through La Rochelle. This visit to La Rochelle is only a small part of a much larger journey. Later, you will be able to join me on the complete road trip from Benidorm, Spain, all the way back to Bergen, Norway. Along the way, we pass through San Sebastián, La Rochelle, Mont Saint-Michel, and the historic D-Day Beaches of Normandy before continuing north through Belgium, Germany and Denmark. The road trip film will also include highlights from each of these destinations, with links to the full videos for those who wish to explore them in more detail. I hope you'll come along for the journey. Thanks for watching.